Let's go.
And blah, blah. And so blah.
You're hired.
Let's go.
Movie lovers, Ruben here from the Ruby Tuesday. Today I'm diving headfirst into a film I've been really hyped to check out since I first saw a trailer, since I heard about it, The Substance by Coralie Farget.
People are gonna love that.
This film was a wild ride, but it won't be for everyone. So does the hype of the movie live up to my expectations? Will it live up to yours? Let's talk about it. Coralie Farget, the brilliant mind behind Revenge, returns with another gut-wrenching tale, but this time she's bringing that sharp eye to a full-blown horror thriller. And as a word of warning, or maybe to hype it more up, this one is bloody, it's bold, and it's also relentless. The Substance doesn't shy away from the grotesque. It's gory, it's violent, but it's also thoughtful and full of substance, pun intended.
Love that.
It is often on the nose with its message, but not preachy. It sidesteps that cliche by shouting its message through the story of the film. However, if you have a weak stomach, food with this film is probably not a good idea, because it's gnarly, especially the last 20 minutes or so. Right from the unsettling opening of this movie, the cast grabbed my attention. Once we have our two main protagonists fighting for screen time, the film is electric and disturbing simultaneously. Margaret Qualley is a fantastic actress who plays Sue. She plays this role with a real sense of vulnerability at first, then confidence and sexy and everything that is demanded of her in the limelight of Hollywood perfection. And then there's a rage in other places as well. She takes all those kind of characteristics and puts them on screen for us to see. There's a lot going on with this movie, including power, control, and bodily autonomy. It's loaded with themes and she absolutely nails it. And then we've got Demi Moore, who's still an absolute force of nature on screen. She plays this cold, manipulative character, no spoilers, but trust me, she is terrifying in a way that's subtle at first, but builds into something monstrous. I've never seen Demi Moore quite like this. She eats up the screen as she portrays what is expected of her and what she is desperately clinging to. It is a role that bears all emotionally and physically, and it is gratuitous and it is voyeuristic in places, but it is absolutely necessary for the themes of this film. Demi shows us the demands of what societal expectations can lead to. It is also all about the male gaze. I wrote an essay on this at uni when I was studying film and television production. The male gaze is a theory that visual media is essentially created from a heterosexual male's point of view. It's also believed that because women are rarely portrayed from a position of power, they are normally reduced to objects to be admired instead of playing an actual role. That is what this film says in buckets and spades. And Demi Moore's character personifies this perfectly, which leads me, when I'm talking about the male gaze, nicely into Dennis Quaid's character. Dennis Quaid replaced the late great Ray Liotta, and he does an amazing job stepping into those shoes, or this character. Quaid brings a level of gravitas. There's also this airy charm about him that fits perfectly into the world Farget has built. I loved to hate this character. I almost gagged every time he ate food. The combination of his acting and extreme close-ups perfectly replicates the grotesque nature of the male gaze and expectations of perfection and what beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I would have loved to have seen Ray in this role. However, now that I've seen Dennis Quaid in this role, I can't see anybody else in it. I really disliked him, and that's precisely what the film called for. And talking about the ending without spoilers, just gonna say it's a bloody soaked finale, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's a gruesome, heart-pounding explosion of violence, and it left me speechless. Honestly, I had to wait a while before even thinking about moving from my seat because I couldn't believe the mayhem I had just witnessed on screen. It's been a while since I've seen the body horror displayed so spectacularly without pulling back at all. Films normally pull back somewhat. This film doesn't do that. In fact, that's the message of the movie, really. Let's talk about Benjamin Cracon's cinematography. This guy knows how to make a movie look good. The camera work is so immersive. You're not just watching the chaos unfold, you feel it. The color palette is saturated, almost dreamlike in places, with these rich reds and blues that bleed into each other, much like our two protagonists. It's beautiful but unsettling, precisely what a film like this needs. The choice of extreme close-ups and staying there is uncomfortable, and then the color palette is uncomfortable. Everything within the lens forces you to feel the story shoved into your eyeballs, which is uncomfortable. It often overloads the senses, and I'm guessing multiple viewings will lead to new revelations of how this film is put together. I think this movie is a feast for the senses. You might not enjoy all of the experience, but you will remember it. I can't not talk about the score by Rafferty. Again, this feels uneasy, and then at times it's loud and proud. This airy industrial sound creeps under your skin for the understated moments of the film. It's got this pulsing rhythm that builds tension throughout the movie, almost like a heartbeat that just won't stop racing. Even though at times the heartbeat slows, it just feels pounding in your heart, like your blood is really pumping through your body. It's that sort of rhythm that Rafferty's score creates. It's definitely underrated in places, but on purpose. But it's also definitely a character, and it enhances the movie experience. The set direction is on point too. You get the sense of decay and corruption all around, almost like the very spaces the characters inhabit are closing in on them. There's a rawness to everything. The clinical sterility of some of the scenes, contrasted with the visceral messiness of others. Fargad and her team have done a phenomenal job creating a world that feels alive in the most horrific way. So my final thoughts. The Substance is not just another gore fest. It's brutal, sure, but it's got a lot to say about the human condition, particularly from a feminist perspective. But don't let you put that off. It didn't for me. Caroline Fargad continues to prove she's a director we should be all paying attention to. Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore absolutely kill it, literally, and Dennis Quaid holds his own in a role that feels both creepy and tragic. The cinematography, score, and set design all work together to create a film that's visually stunning and deeply unnerving. I did think it was 15 to 20 minutes too long, and at times I felt it drag. I wanted the story to move along because I knew exactly what was happening and didn't feel like I needed my hand held any longer. But that's a small issue. It is a movie I won't watch many times, but that doesn't mean it doesn't deliver on what it set out to do. Fans of body horror and gore will love the last 20 minutes, and fans of movies that make you feel gross but enthralled at the same time will love this. I give The Substance 4 out of 5 Nicolas Cages.
You got one.
So if you're ready for a bloody, cerebral, and visually striking film, The Substance is your next watch. Let me know what your favorite role of Demi Moore's is other than this. And as always, if you've enjoyed this review, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It does help out the channel with those weird analytics. And remember, live long and Tuesday.